So you probably already know about the story of Overwatch, and if you don't, there are many creators who have their ear to the ground more than I do that made videos on this topic. It was a team-based shooter with MOBA elements. It had a bunch of cool characters with their own unique abilities, which gave them their own individual way of contributing to the team, for better or for worse. I'm also contractually obligated to talk about the copious amounts of porn that the internet made of all the female characters. Though to be honest, I think Tracer's pretty mid, I don't see the appeal. I first got into Overwatch back when it launched. My brother was keeping up with people streaming the beta. He described a character D.Va to me and it had me intrigued. She was a girl driving a mech who could then get out and start shooting. I had to see it for myself. Later when he got it on Xbox, he let me play it and I was hooked. I remember how nice it felt to play a shooter that didn't feel as demanding as a fighting game. To be honest, I'm not very good at shooters myself. I lack the game sense and situational awareness needed to perform well in these types of games. So I usually prefer PvE versus PvP shooters like Deep Rock or Borderlands. But it doesn't mean I don't find playing these games fun. I'll always be down to play Halo with my group of friends. But Overwatch was more simple to learn, with each character having a handful of abilities that made learning how to play one easier. And it was just fun. Though I dipped out of Overwatch before the pandemic, and a lot of things have changed in that time. So when I decided to get back into Overwatch 2 earlier this June, I was shocked. I didn't even know they had switched to 5v5. Playing DPS and tank felt absolutely miserable. So I went from branching out to other roles to role-playing as a welfare recipient being an eternal Ana main. Yeah, I only play support in Overwatch 2. I don't like that that's the case, but they just had to make playing tanks so unfun. And I guess sure, I'm having fun, but that fun can only last for so long. And with Team 4 constantly doing tests and changing shit around, I can't really say this is something I might stick with for a long time. Or at least not as long as I did Overwatch 1. But I guess with the competition of Marvel Rivals and Deadlock coming for their ass, I guess they had to realize that Samito might have been right. And so for 3 weeks, they decided to give us Overwatch Classic, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's Overwatch as it launched originally. You get Hanzo's Scatter Arrow back, you get Mercy's Mass Res, no character limits anymore. Actually, they patched that one out, so never mind. McCree's Flashbang and May's Freeze, it's all back. They're just trying to tap into that nostalgia of me playing Overwatch on my brother's Xbox when it first launched. And I have to say, it definitely was very fun. Although I learned that some characters just fucking suck in this mode. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh, but to be honest, some characters are definite downgrades from their Overwatch 2 counterparts. Biggest one being D.Va. Movement speed while shooting got a nerf, no micro missiles, DM is no longer on a resource meter, she dies to her own bomb? Yeah, downgrade is how I would describe this character. I mean, Junkrat and Symmetra are definitely downgrades from their Overwatch 2 counterparts, but D.Va definitely takes the cake on that one. Back in Overwatch 1, I mained Zarya after I watched an Nickel video talking about a Korean Zarya who was dunking on everybody. So much so that competitive players even threatened to quit the game. You even had one that threatened to come to her house with a knife.
One of the guys from Dizziness named Strobe said, quote, "If this problem is confirmed as a hack, it would have caused a problem to our career and reputation. How will you take responsibility for that?" And this is where it starts to get weird, where his inner murderer starts peeking its head out. Because then he said, "If there is a problem with our sponsors and such, I may visit Geguri's house with a knife in hand. I am not joking."
It got so bad she had to go to a neutral location on video just to prove that she wasn't cheating. Her skill and aim were just that good. But the reason I made this video is because I wanted an opportunity to talk about the one thing that we lost after all these years. Something I thought we would never ever get back, even though I wanted it to. Hook 1.0. Roadhog was my tertiary main tank after D.Va and Zarya. Reason being because he was my brother's main, and watching him play Roadhog back in the day was incredible. Roadhog had a hook that could pull you out of position, and if you were a squishy character, it could one-shot you with the hook headshot melee combo, making him a real threat for those flanker characters. Though Hook 1.0 had some pretty nutty stuff.
1.0 build that released in 2016, Roadhog's hook had a vertical hitbox that was much larger than it appeared to be. This was a deliberate design choice made by the developers, aimed at making the hook easier to land for newer players, but this huge hitbox was easily manipulated and exploited, and future pros like Taimu figured out that you could hook enemies even when they were out of sight. An enemy Widowmaker crouching behind cover No problem. Or a Hanzo just over the lip of a ledge. Just aim roughly around where they're hiding, and you get a free kill. Hook 1.0 could also hook enemies through other enemies, through barriers, and even behind Roadhog himself. And Hook 1.0 would never break, meaning that no matter what, if you got hit with it, you were getting pulled in one way or another.
Okay, Blizzard! Can you explain to me how this hook lands? He pulled me through a bus!
This nuttiness caused the hook to get reworked into Hook 2.0, and Roadhog was never the same since. Personally, I think that the hook should be a bit strong. The threat of getting pulled out of position and likely killed makes Roadhog a threat on the map, which should be respected. But I could easily see that turning into a Widow one-shot situation where Hog can just take space by existing. But even worse, because the jankiness of the hook could make duels with him unpredictable. But I'll admit, it was fun getting tunnel vision just looking for the hook for 3 weeks. But that's it for this video. It was fun playing this mode while it lasted, and I'm still looking forward to that 6v6 mode they finally implement. Now that I'm done with this, I'm going to move on to the next test of strength. Like and subscribe for more. I'm Mr. SP, thank you for watching and see you next time.